Hello everyone, my name is Amy and I am the Black Cat Stitcher here on YouTube and on, here we go, and on Instagram. This is my, crafting digital diary where I show my progress on my crafting endeavors, including cross-stitching and knitting, and plans for what I want to do for the next month in those crafts. And I guess first and foremost, I suppose you're going to see this regardless. I have a new tattoo. This is my 5th tattoo, I believe. The others are on my leg, and I've never shown them on my Flosstube, mostly because I really don't want to lift my leg above my waist to show them. But this is a memorial tattoo for, there we go, that's a good view for all the pets that I have had and currently have in my life. I've got little silhouettes of a dog, a cat, and a lizard gecko thing, plus paws and gecko prints to memorial each animal, plus 2, I suppose. The tattoo artist showed, halfway through shading in the paw prints, he's like, oh, I gave you 2 extra ones. So I guess my tattoo artist inadvertently gave me an excuse to get 2 more cats. Sometime. I don't think my landlord would be too happy if I did that right now, but, maybe someday when I own my own home, I'll get more cats. So my tattoo says I should, and that's my excuse. Not that I really needed one, but Anywho, that's it for life update, I suppose. I'm going to also give my knitting update out of order because unfortunately I was a wee bit scatterbrained when I left work today, and I left my knitting at my desk. I have gotten into the, habit of bringing my knitting with me to work and stitching it or knitting it during my lunch break, which has allowed me to get a significant amount of progress on my knitting. So what I plan to do on Tuesday of this upcoming week, I will bring it home with me and do a Flosstube extra showing off my knitting progress for the month of March, because stupidly I can't do it during the main March Flosstube video. Anyhow, so now we jump straight into my stitching progress. First, I believe when I left you last video, I had started or restarted my Mirabilia, which is this pattern. This is Princess Elliana by Mirabilia, and I had restarted her, and I was nearly caught up to the place where I had been in terms of number of stitches, because I restarted her in a different spot. I started at her head rather than in the middle of her dress like I had the first time. So I was nearly up to the same stitch count that I had. And once I had caught up, I guess, I was going to do an additional 1,000 stitches to complete my WIP one of my WIP goals for the month of March. And shoot, hold on, I'm unprepared. Gonna move all the strings and all that, although that'll be hard since I have a bunch of dangling threads on this one. Anyway, this is where I'm at now. The last time you saw her, I had mostly completed her head right here. And then I filled in the rest of her face, did the back stitching, brought it down her neck, did her collar thing here, and then worked my way, I guess I'll move these threads slightly, worked my way down the front of her dress to get to the, front edge of the pattern. And then from here on out, I'm going to be working in columns, towards the back of her dress. So yeah. And also from this point on, I think I'm going to stop adding in the beading. I'm pretty sure I can avoid crushing the beads in her headdress here. But I don't want to necessarily take the chance of crushing them, in her dress. So I think I'm going to save the rest of the beading for last, but I will be doing back stitching as I go. So yeah, that is my completed prompt for Princess Elliana. She is on my WhipGo board one more time before the end of the year. And then my plans after that was to complete my the prompt for Stitch for Pride. Now, before I started my prompt, I wanted to complete what little stitching I had left of the Tired Trio by Plum Street Samplers. I don't have a before picture for this because basically all I had left was these 3 flowers and the bottom portion from here down of that trunk. And the reason why I wanted to finish this is because I wanted to have a new start for Stitch for Pride, which would, I guess, become my smalls category project for my WhipGo this year after this one was completed. And that that project was, what was it called? Magic Potions by Stitches with Coffee. Because this month's the month of March's prompt was to stitch a project that was by a Asian designer. And I chose Stitches with Coffee, who is an Etsy shop that is based in Seoul, South Korea. And this is where I got to complete my Stitch for Pride prompt. Now, I think this is approximately 1,000 stitches. I was using Markup XP to track my stitches because I tried uploading this PDF in Pattern Keeper and it really didn't work because of the back stitching. So I uploaded it into Markup XP. Or not XP, RX. I don't know what it's actually, Markup something, because it was more compatible with that program. And I completed the green side of the Poison Apple arch, and then I almost finished outlining the cauldron. I just have to finish this side and then fill it in. And that is where I got up to. This fabric, it's a printed fabric. I don't remember the color, but I will insert it at in text at the bottom. But it is 18 count dark purple. And I got it from Stitches for Fun, I believe, on Etsy. All right. And the last thing that I did for the majority of the month, honestly, or not, the second to last thing, not the last. But for the majority of the month, I was pushing to finish my mom's gift project, which if you are my mom, you should leave right now because I don't want to spoil the surprise. Anyway, I was so close to getting a finish. I can taste it. Like, it's on the tip of my tongue. But anyway, the project that I'm doing for my mom is this. This is what it's supposed to look like when it's completed. It is a red iris. The original illustration was inspired by art by Mary Golay. And it was charted by Whoopicat on Etsy. There. And I may or may not have a before picture, but if I don't, I will screenshot what I had from my previous video to show you. But anyway, this is, ta-da, where I'm at. Here's the top, but I was working down here on the bottom. I fully finished all of the stem for this red iris. And then all that I have left is to fill in the yellow on the border. That is all. I think I probably have, honestly, less than 2,000 stitches left in this entire project to fully finish. Or not fully finish, to finish. So, I think the plan is I'm going to, like, finish it this weekend. I'm going to power through, and hopefully I can get a finished project by the end of this weekend and mark that off my WIPGO goal. But I was sort of, I guess, started the April WIPGO calls early because I was getting a wee bit tired of this project, and my stitchy bug was flying away because, you know, when faced with the prospect of working on this, I was like, but I don't wanna, because I was ready for a change. So in order to take a short breather, I started my WIPGO for April early, and one of the numbers for April was to do 1,000 stitches on Haunted Welcome by Stoney Creek. Here's what it's supposed to look like. And here is a photo of what it looked like the last time you saw it. And I think I completed that goal. The reason I say I think is because this is a paper pattern, and I scanned it into a PDF and added it to Markup XP, RX. I don't know what the app is called again, but I don't know if I 100% accurately marked off, I suppose, all of the stitches that I had done previously. So I'm close enough, plus or minus, you know, to 1,000 stitches completed on this. And this is being stitched on, what is this, 14 count Mirage by Picture This Plus. And I believe that is also on my WIPGO board for a second time. So you will be seeing that project again later this year. And that is all of the stitching that I completed for the month of March. Like I said, for plans coming up, the April across 24 hours of cross stitch acrostics was released, and this is my board, I guess. Like I said, I'm not really attempting to challenge myself in terms of number of stitches on this, but just in terms of creativity, and see if I can, you know, try and fit, I guess, the letters into my focus project, which for right now, until I finish it this weekend, because I'm making that promise, stay tuned, look at my Instagram, and you will see on Monday evening that that is finished. Don't hold me to it. I don't know. 2,000 stitches is a lot for me for one weekend, so I'm going to really have to push myself. Anyway, that's besides the point. My current acrostic board is prompted to help me finish my red iris. And then I guess the second goal for WIPGO was a page finish on my watercolor city, which is this project. I'm going to pop a picture up, and which is a pretty achievable goal. And I'm not going to mention, by the way, where I got that project, because the store that I found that on at Etsy had also, in addition to selling, their own works, they were selling pirated and copyrighted materials. For example, one of the other patterns that I bought from them, unfortunately, was a Hello Kiss. You are not a good window. I'm gonna need you to move. Thank you, friend. Anyway, after that drive-by, the other pattern that I bought from them was what they called Rainbow City, and I don't know what it's called, in the kit, but it is a stitch your own hands kit, which is a Russian-made cross-stitching kit. And they photocopied that pattern and were selling it on their site. I also saw one of those charts that are on Heaven and Earth Designs. I think Lisa Parker, that artist, the one that does the witchy looking black cat full coverage ones, I saw a couple of those on there. So she definitely was selling copyrighted materials, which is not nice. You shouldn't do that, please. Anyway, this is the watercolor city, however, is her own work, but I cannot promote her as a result of what she had been selling on her site. Anyway, I'm going to do a page finish to complete my final April WIPGO board. Speaking of which, I'm gonna pop a picture here of what it currently looks like. Let's see, what else? Oh, Stitch for Pride. The prompt was just posted today, so I'm still somewhat in my head debating what project I should do for that. This month, we're learning about drag performers and the history of drag performances, and we are asked to stitch on our most colorful project, which for me is an easy prompt because I have so many colorful projects. Many of my projects consist solely of the colors of the rainbow. For example, Human Anatomy by Light Unicorn Designs. I'm going to pop up pictures of when I list them off. Princess Elliana. She's a very colorful project. The Stitch for Pride Sal 2022 by Modern Folk Embroidery. And then I guess I'm going to add Grace Faces by Josephine Wall, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. Those are also very colorful ladies. But I'm kind of balancing in my head to choose between two projects. And I'm going to initiate a vote, I guess. Help me decide. Because, one, Stitch for Pride 2022. That will be a very fitting project to do as my most colorful project, because it is also, in addition to being colorful, celebrating the LGBTQIA plus community. And my second project that I have on my mind is Princess Elliana. Mostly because this month we're learning about the art of drag performance, and I don't know, I think it would be really fun to name her after a drag queen. and change her name from Princess Elliana to something else. Now, I don't know very, many drag queens. I live in Wyoming. It is a highly conservative state, and in my small town, there is no club that has a local drag performer that I could name her after. So, I guess that's a part. If you vote for Princess Elliana, leave the name of your favorite drag performer, local or, internationally known, performed on RuPaul's Drag Race, whatever. Whatever is the name of your favorite drag queen, put it in the comments, and I will pick the most colorful and extravagant one, and name Princess Elliana after her. And yeah, that is the question. But yeah, I'm going to choose one of those two projects and do that one to, celebrate the April Stitch for Pride prompt. And yeah, I think that's it for my plans. Yeah, that is it for my plans. Oh, no, it's not, actually. I am coming upon the imminent finish of my mom's project, and after I finish it, once you finish, thou must start a new one. That is the cross-stitch rule. It's one of the commandments, Anyway, I am going to start another one of the flowers from the set that I bought on Whoopicat that were inspired by the illustrations by Mary Golay. And I believe I'm going to start, I believe it's a white dandelion or daffodil narcissus is what it's called. I'll insert the picture here. I'm going to be doing this for my brother's future wife or partner, life partner, one of the two. I mean, if he decides never to get married, that's his decision, and that's okay. But whomever his life partner is going to be, I'm going to gift them this project. Because I want all of the women in my family, minus my grandma, to have one of these flowers. Grandma, mostly because it's not her, I don't think she would like one. Plus, yeah. I'm not gonna say any more about that because, frankly, it's private. But anyway, yeah, I'm gonna start that. Do maybe 1,000 stitches. That seems to be what I gravitate towards. When I start a new project, is to just do 1,000 stitches to count it as a new start. And then that is it for the cross stitch plans. And yeah, like I said, no knitting this week or this month because I left it at work like an idiot. But the last portion, I guess, of my videos, I talk about books that I've been reading. And I'm not exactly sure, or I'm not remembering 100% what I had been talked about in my previous, book review part. I think I had just read the second of a series by Karen Slaughter that the TV series Will Trent was based off of. And we have started and finished it, or we, being my mom and I, who are reading them together, we have started and finished the third book. I don't remember the title. Or maybe we had just started and finished the third book, and we were moving on to the fourth. Yeah, I think that's where we were. Anyway, the fourth book is called Broken, and I am currently more than, 3/4 of the way done, or through that book. And the previous two books have been books that a TV episode from the show have been based off of, and it was somewhat fun to compare I guess, the way the story played out between the TV show and the book. However, it was also annoying because knowing how the TV series ended it kind of spoiled the ending. We know who done it, essentially. But in this one, I don't know. I think there's a TV show that is loosely based on this book, but very loosely. Some of the characters are connected, but at this point, honestly, there is no clue as to whether or not, I guess, the exact scenario is playing out the same as it did in the TV series. Because essentially, in this one, spoiler alert, there's a young college girl who got murdered, and she was discovered in the lake outside of campus. Which there is a TV episode that starts like that. And they believe that she has committed suicide because they found a suicide note with her stuff on the shore. But they soon discover that there's a knife wound in her neck, and she was in fact murdered. So this college student has that similarity to the TV show. She was found in a lake, she has a knife wound in her neck, and she was a college student who got murdered. And the other similarity is that she is in a relationship with a grad student, a boy, who works, well, in the TV show, that is the case. In the book, I don't think it's the case, so I'm going to skip that part. She's in a relationship with a grad student who goes to the same college. And she is having a fight, or was having a fight, with her boyfriend prior to her murder, which is also the same situation in the book. And that, I think, is where, at this point that I am at in the story, is where the similarity ends. Now, kind of. Because there is speculation on the part in the book. There's speculation that this girl was involved in trading or selling drugs on campus in the book. But that hasn't been proven, whereas in the TV series, that was absolutely proven, that she was involved in selling drugs on campus. But in this case, I think the book is somewhat leaning against that. I don't think it's very apparent at all that she was involved. I think it's apparent that her boyfriend was, but she was not, or is not at this point. And I think that's where the similarity ends, honestly. But yeah, I really like this book. I think, in general, I think that this author gives a lot of depth to characters. Because, like I said previously, she switches perspective a lot. From the victim to the cops who are investigating to suspects to Joe Schmo, who's relatively tangentially involved in the storyline somehow. So we get a lot of character development and depth to each character, even if they're only making a brief appearance, which is awesome. So we definitely are getting into the heads of all of the people involved, which I love that, and I think it adds a lot of depth to each character. Because, especially in murder mysteries, it's kind of one-sided sometimes when it comes to, it's just in the head of the investigators. Or a singular investigator at most. And, in this book, we're getting viewpoints from the criminals, from the victim, from the investigators, it gives a lot more depth to the whole storyline than your average murder mystery book. And I guess for reading plans, I'm going to finish Broken by Karen Slaughter. and I'm going to pick up, I think it's called, I know the title, but I don't remember the author. I'll put the book cover here. It's called Anxious People, and I'm reading this for my book club. And the summary that was given to me from another member of the book club who had suggested this novel is that there is a bunch of people who are stuck in a bank that is being robbed somewhere in Sweden. And instead of, going the normal crime drama direction, this is more delving into the psyche of, everybody who's in the bank. And it's not so much a focused on the how the hell do we get out of this situation part of it. So yeah, it's definitely going to be an interesting book, I think, because the person who suggested this book, he's got excellent tastes, and I definitely think that this is going to be a good book. So yeah, I think that's all that I got to say today. So happy April Fools. Enjoy the rest of your April. And for those of you who celebrate Easter, enjoy your Easter celebrations with your family. I'm looking forward to that because the first time, gosh, since I was in high school, I'm going to be celebrating Easter with my family and, enjoying an Easter dinner. I'm going to go home to see my grandma and grandpa and my auntie and uncle and my cousin and my bro. Well, maybe my bro. He might not be attending or attending at the same time that I'm able to attend. But we will definitely cross paths at some point during the visit. But yeah, that is going to be exciting. Have a good April, and I will see you next month. Bye-bye.